Listen to me, Alec. You take that jealousy and stuff it back up those hellish pages of Cassandra Clare's books from wherever you found them, because I am not having it in Shadowhunters. I can't. What's up, Shadowhunters, angels and dark modders alike, and welcome to my first thoughts for episode 5 of Shadowhunters Season 3, Stronger Than Heaven. Quick note before I start talking about my first thoughts. If you noticed that my fair and unbiased vanished from my channel and then came back on Sunday, you would be absolutely correct. I didn't take it down because I thought that it was bad or I just didn't want it up there anymore. I was at my friend Rachel's house over the weekend, and as you do when you're with friends, you stay up really late. And I was lying in bed looking for a video to play while I fell asleep. And I somehow accidentally deleted my fair and unbiased episode of my channel, because only I could do that kind of thing. Only I could achieve that level of stupidity. But yeah, since I was at my friend's house, I didn't have access to my laptop or to my video to re-upload it. So that's why it vanished for a couple of days and then came back, because I uploaded it as soon as I came back. Oh, the Immortal Plotline. The Immortal Plotline has finally hit. Ever since season 1, everyone who's read the books, at least, everyone who's read the books and noticed the problems in the books have been dreading this plotline being introduced into Shadowhunters and into Malik's arc, because let's just say when the topic of Magnus's immortality and Alec's mortality comes up in the books, it is not handled very well, and it turns Magnus and Alec into complete and utter dislikable characters, and it just kind of spoils everything. So as we've all been kind of dreading this. I completely forgot about it. I remember at the end of season 1 people were worried because it was briefly brought up when Magnus and Alec were talking to each other. It was briefly brought up and everyone was like, no, not the Immortal Plotline, not already. And since it wasn't brought up at all throughout season 2 and there was all the Shadowhunters is homophobic shit going on, it completely slipped my mind that there was an Immortal Plotline at all. But here we are. We're back. Matthew Daddario really meant it when he said there was going to be some issues, didn't he? Oh, fucking hell. What is the Immortal Plotline? The Immortal Plotline is where the issue of Magnus's immortality finally comes up. I didn't deny that this was going to have to come up. I've just been dreading it, because you can't have a relationship with a person and not kind of acknowledge the fact that you're gonna die eventually and they're gonna live on. And it needs to be handled delicately, because in the books Cassandra Clare doesn't have a concept of emotion, you see. She doesn't have a concept of how people actually react to things and how people actually feel. She can't write that. She has no concept of that. If you've watched my podcast with Neve, we've discussed that at length. So she didn't know how to handle such a complicated issue, and basically everyone turned into assholes across the board. Just assholes everywhere, including Magnus and Alec. And I have faith in Shadowhunters to be able to handle this better. I do. They've proven themselves to be able to do this over and over again. I'm just nervous. I'm nervous because, you know, when you see your favorite characters ruined in a book where everything that you thought that they stood for is completely demolished, and everything you thought that was being represented you realize isn't. Once that realization comes along, it's hard to be able to trust the plot line that did that into the hands of another writer. And as I've said, I have faith in Shadowhunters. I have PTSD from those books. Those books gave me PTSD, alright? And just thinking about the Immortal Plotline is giving me flashbacks, alright? I don't want Magnus and Alec to get ruined, because they have done so well up until this point. Even in this episode, Alec addressed the fact that he opened up Magnus's box without even having to be like encouraged to. He did it on his own volition. Like, the communication is there, the strength and the happiness is there. And now it's gonna get ruined. Even in the sneak peek for next week's episode, they're already fighting. They're already fighting. But as I've always said, for conflict when it comes to Magnus and Alec, there's no person at fault, because you can understand why Alec would be a bit worried about becoming only like an arrowhead in a box. That's all his like presence in Magnus's life gets summed up to. And you can also understand why Magnus does have that box. As he said, he doesn't have a good memory. He doesn't know how else to commemorate the people that he loves. And I can't think of anything else that he could do. And he doesn't want to just forget them. And that's why he has the box. So you can see where both of their concerns, well, Alec's concern and Magnus's reasoning, you can see where that comes, where each of those come from. So again, at least I can say that this is not black and white conflict. Like, it's not like, as with Malik, like you can't just point a finger and say who's to blame, because you can understand Magnus's reasoning and you can understand why Alec is worried. Trust me, that was not in the books. Just to give a little insight, in the books, Alec saw a blue scarf and sort of going like, is that Will Herondale? Is that the guy you dated? And it turned into a whole like teenage girl kind of thing. It was kind of beautiful but disgusting at the same time. It was beautiful in the sense that you could see Alec morph into a bitchy teenage girl over the fact that he heard that there was this guy called Will Herondale in Magnus's life, and all of a sudden he's just sitting going like, is that blue scarf Will Herondale's? Do you still keep that? So you see him transform into a teenage girl, but it's also disgusting at the same time, because why? Just why? And just to sort of put an extra note in that, at that point in the books, Alec didn't know anything about Magnus's past because Magnus didn't talk to him about it. So that's another problem with the books. Cassandra Clare, no concept of human emotion. It's not there. I feel like she's a couple of screws loose, and she doesn't understand how actual people react to these situations, or how the characters that she has created and how their personalities match up. She doesn't understand how they would react to these situations. But I'm talking too much about the books. Let's get back on point on the show. As I say, I trust Shadowhunters to do this. I do. I do. I know it seems like I don't, but I do. Because Shadowhunters has proved themselves to be able to fix many problems that Cassandra Clare created with her books. I'm just nervous, as I say. I'm nervous about how this is going to work out. Not to mention that I'm concerned about the fans' reaction, because anytime there's any trouble in the Malik pool, they flip their lids and they go immediately on the defensive. Like, Shadowhunters homophobic, they're going to break up Malik. They're queer baiting us, and you're like, no. I have since this season started, I haven't been on Tumblr in a really long time, and honestly I feel so much healthier for it. I feel so much healthier not taking in everyone's reactions from the show and just going by my own opinion and what I think, because when you start seeing how fans get worked up and start addressing the show, the actors, everyone who's involved in it, you start to get stressed and you want to make a rant video, but it's a rant video that doesn't really have much impact in the real world, that no one's going to really watch, and it's not really going to change much, which makes you even more frustrated. So I've stopped involving myself with Tumblr because Magnus and Alec are fighting next week, and it is a genuine concern. The immortality thing is a genuine concern. And I don't want to see those idiots going like, they're fighting, queer baiting, homophobia, Malik's gonna break up, because the majority of my first thoughts were about Malik. I want to discuss the plot, like, line things in Fair and Unbiased, the main plot things, you know, Claire, Gia, stuff like that. But there are a couple other side plots that I want to sort of clear up in first thoughts, because they're just side plots and I don't really think they're gonna go anywhere. We have Isabel. She went on her date with the doctor guy, so she did date a mundane, and we see in this episode how it doesn't really work, because as we saw, a demon just appeared and she had to just run. She had to leave, and he didn't understand and you couldn't explain it to him, and she was just gone. And I feel like this was just like, that was it. From the way that Isabel said goodbye to him, I think that's it. I hope that's it. But it was also nice to see her experience get stitches for the first time. She was like, is that it? Oh, didn't even fucking hurt. Maybe she'll start getting stitches more often. I wonder if she'll be able to use her Aratsi rune, and would it like take the stitches out and just heal it, or would it heal it with the stitches in? I don't really know how that would work, but can we also talk about this? I want to just bring a brief mention to this. Does anyone out there who can like help me with this, does anyone actually refer to their sibling as big brother or little brother or big sister or little sister? Because coming from the point of view of a little sister, I've never in my life called my sister Alana big sister. I've never gone, I love you big sister, or relax big sister. I say Alana. I say her name. It's just, I noticed Cleophas saying big brother to Luke, and I'm just like, who does that? Does anyone do that? Am I just missing something? Is this just something that I don't personally do? I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure Isabel is called Alec Big Brother as well. I think she called him in the very first episode of all time of Shadowhunters. I'm pretty sure she said Big Brother. And like, it's like, why? Just call him Alec. Just call him Luke. Who does that? Maybe everyone does that and I'm just missing something. I don't know. But that was something that I was just like, So, yeah. Maybe I'm the weird one. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I was the weird one. I am very weird. But yeah, I just want to know, does anyone actually call their like siblings by their status in the family? I don't even know if status is the right word, but you know what I mean? Or their relationship to them, like, you know, big brother, little brother, that kind of thing. Because I've never heard like Alex say little sister to Isabel. Maybe it's a brother thing. I've only ever really noticed it with brothers. Is it a brother thing? I don't know. I don't have brothers. Maybe that's it. I don't have brothers. Anyone with brothers, can you clear that up for me? Please? Cheers. So that's it for this week's Shadowhunters, Angels and Downloads. Like, for first thoughts, in Fair and Unbiased, I will talk about the main plotline, Clary, Jace, Simon. All of the plots that kind of like, I feel like have future bearing. Apart from Malik. Malik obviously has future bearing, but Malik is always in the forefront of my mind, and it is always my first thoughts. So I always have to get it out as soon as the episode ends and I get my camera out, because it's Malik and I have to, so don't blame me. So I'll see you then, Shadowhunters, Angels and Downloads. Like, remember, a cut can actually be healed with stitches, but we don't actually know if our Aratsi rune can heal it with the stitches in or if it pops the stitches out. That's the experiment. That's the homework for today, okay? Find that out.